Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome back to SimCity and welcome back to Nerdberg. I've been reading your comments and I've gone back to the internet and done some research, and I think we're on a good path with Nerdberg. Now, at the moment, we are making 9,484 simoleons per hour, which is great, but I've got to be honest, I'm not expecting that to be a permanent thing by any means. If we go in and look at the breakdown, a good chunk of that is coming from Omega Co, which, as we've discovered in Nerdberg, it's pretty flexible on just how much money it wants to pay out at any one time. Sometimes it'll be 16,000, sometimes it'll be 600. So it can be all over the place, and I'm not really going to try and rely on Omega Co too much, at least not right now. Maybe when we stabilize things, we can lean on it a little bit more. Now, there have been some changes since the last episode. I've gone in and just taken out a couple of roads just here and there to do two things. Number one, I'm trying to improve the flow of traffic. And number two, I'm trying to make sure that my buildings have enough room to grow. I also decided to build a new bridge that connects directly from the main avenue all the way over to the industry. Now, it does connect around past our hydro pumping stations, but honestly, that's okay. That's not the end of the world. It's not a big deal. And obviously it has a new road that connects over to the rest of the industry. I did this because I saw a couple of comments specifically on the last episode. I can't remember who, and I'm so sorry, but I did see a couple of comments that were talking about how a lot of my problems are coming from traffic flow, which, if you go way back in this series, I mentioned wasn't a big deal in SimCity 2013. It turns out it kind of It can be a big deal. And part of the problem that we're having is that so many of my vehicles, including the vehicles that will deliver Omega to industry and that will deliver oil to Omega, they get stuck in traffic. And if they get stuck in traffic, then the deliveries slow down, people start getting annoyed, and that's where the fluctuations come in. So if we can have a really regular supply of oil and ore to the Omega Co factory, and then have that regular supply of Omega going out to my industry, then suddenly we don't need to worry so much about this number fluctuating. And that's part of how we're going to stabilize things in Nerdberg. But on top of that, I think some of the same people mentioned that a lot of my infrastructure with public transportation, at the very least, relies heavily on roads. And it absolutely does. Nerdberg has streetcars and it has buses. Now, the streetcars, admittedly, have their own space. Traffic doesn't actually drive on the tracks except to cross over the way it will do tram tracks in cities' skylines. But the streetcars don't really go all that far. They loop around here, they loop around here, and that's kind of it. They're a bit of a novelty in Nerdberg, so we need something better. And basically that is where the MAGLEV is going to come in. This guy can go, in fact, we'll just go ahead and do this. We can get a station right there. We can get a station right there. We can get a station, say, right about there. And we'll get one right about there. Nothing too crazy. That's going to be, I believe, $1,000 per hour. Yeah, 250 each, and there's 4 of them. And all we need to do is connect it. Now, the tracks are 25 simoleons per little tiny segment, so this is 10,000 simoleons. MAGLEV track is pretty darn expensive, which is going to be the biggest hurdle towards getting this thing around everywhere. But the benefit to the MAGLEV is, I mean, I think it's pretty obvious, it's elevated. So now you can hop on a MAGLEV down here by the airports and you can get to this end of the city in seconds because you don't have to worry about traffic. So that's good. That's kind of fantastic. And we do have some numbers in here for riders per day because I may or may not have been experimenting with MAGLEV off camera just to make sure that it's actually kind of viable. And it is pretty damn popular. So my goal with MAGLEV is going to be pretty simple. I want to go ahead and bring it up into this space. I want to bring it through this space and obviously into the lower part of the city, but I also want to connect it over to the industry because I want to try and essentially give my Sims no reason to take out a car. Now they will continue to do that. Now, why are we having some problems here? Not enough control net. Ooh. Now that's interesting. Are you not generating enough control nets? You were transmitting 10,580. Okay. Do we happen to need a control net facility? This will raise high wealth land value, and the maximum control net transmission rate is 5,250. It's also not huge, which is good. So I might actually have to build this. And this is actually a decent little spot for it down here. We'd be losing a couple of houses, but you know what? It's 40,000, it's 400 per hour. Sure. We'll go ahead and build a control net thing there. And is it expandable? It is. Ooh. We can get a signal booster, boost the transmission by 25%. So we can boost it by 25%. And that's really cool. I also realize these guys, I think I can probably get 3 of them. How are we doing? So we have 180 excess control net right now. Is that going to be enough? This also hires across the board, so hopefully that'll be all right, and hopefully everything can get the control net that it needs. I just want to make sure everything's running, especially, you know, the maglev's really important, but so is this. The sewage sanitizer is kind of a big deal, so if we can keep that thing going, we'll be all right. Now let's go ahead and just check. What are you complaining about? Hazmat fires destroying city. I knew this was going to become a problem, and I think I talked about this in the last episode. Essentially, we have some medium and high-tech industry. This one, for example, is high-tech. It also needs its roads upgraded. Let's very quickly go and do that. And the problem with high-tech industry is that when it catches fire, and it does, it is sometimes a chemical fire. And you can't necessarily put out a chemical fire with the same, I guess, I don't know what you call it. You can't put it out with water, I think, is usually the way to look at it. It's like if you have a certain type of fire in your kitchen, you don't go throw water at it because it's going to explode. I think it's like an oil fire. You don't throw water on it. I honestly don't remember, but it's like that. That's the logic. For example, yeah, they also explode is what they do. Oh my God. Wasn't expecting that. What happened to you? Couldn't find shops or parks. That's all right. That's, as far as reasons go, that's pretty weak. But yeah, we need to basically go ahead and get ourselves a large fire station. It's just very expensive. And also, it's worth pointing out, my budget has already fallen to plus 2,000. And that's because of a near $4,000 drop off in the Omega Co profits. So what I was saying about Omega Co being all over the place, it's very true. Now let's go ahead and just take a look at the stats here. 672 riders per day on MAGLEV. That's not great. And it could be a lot higher. I'm almost certain that if I get it connected to all of this space, that is going to help us out quite considerably. But given that my budget's now falling to plus 1,100, I don't know how much I want to do that. Now, it is worth pointing out, and I did see comments talking about this as well, I did build that huge police station that was costing me like 7,000 simoleons per hour with all of the upgrades. Obviously, it's gone, and I have gone around and turned off a bunch of things. The airport is still turned off. This bus terminal is still turned off. We could probably turn off the streetcars as well for nearly 1,000 simoleons there. And there's, I'm pretty sure this high school. Yeah, this was costing me 3,000 simoleons too. So I've turned off the high school. I've turned off a lot of things is what I've done. I've turned off a lot of things to try and save some money and make some money. Now, I think I am going to take a risk. I think I'm going to take a risk with this MAGLEV because these numbers really, 1,570 is not bad, but I want to try and get people moving into this space. And I mean, obviously they can take the streetcar, but the streetcar is not going to be there forever. In fact, what if we didn't go all the way up to City Hall? What if we just sort of went this way? We could make like a little crossover point here in the middle. No, you know what? I'm going to stick with my original idea. We're going up towards City Hall. We'll put one just to the side of City Hall right there. And I'm going to put one just behind this modern temple or up there. Would I want it behind the modern temple or at the top there? I think I think here, I think behind the modern temple is going to be the way to go. Now we are losing money. Again, Omegaco has dropped off pretty quickly there, which is a bit of an issue. And I would reckon, I mean, is it because of traffic? It's kind of hard to tell. I mean, looking in here, this is an Omegaco place. This is closed and needs workers. This is Omegaco. Not enough room to increase density. It's a lot of this. Oh, these guys upgrading are probably part of the reason that Omegaco is losing money. Basically, we had a bunch of industries in there that are now generating, you know, they're now turning into giant factories. That's going to do it. This one just became an Omegaco franchise for plus 2,000 simoleons. So yeah, I think Omegaco is going to pick back up. So what we'll do is get all of these maglevs connected. And what's cool about this is it just snaps to the roads. It does follow the road network and it just snaps to intersections. It's really, really cool. I really like the maglevs. They're just a really cool thing. So we'll bring this up to here. We'll bring this over to here. And now you can hop in a maglev at the airport and get to City Hall. So hopefully we're going to see a massive influx of riders there. And given this little increase in Omegaco budget and the fact that I'm making money, I think I might actually try and bring it through here as well. I might try and loop this around just while we have some money. Now, this is obviously risky. If we start running out of money, that's going to be a problem, but I'm kind of willing to give this a shot. So let's put a maglev station there, and let's put a maglev station right about there, I think, and that'll nicely bring it over. I don't necessarily want to go over the bridge. So if I could do a maglev station, say, well, I think I am going to have to go over the bridge actually, unless we just come down here. So it wouldn't connect into this space, but it would, you know what? I'm actually okay with that. I think that'll be fine. We still have plus 5,492 simoleons. So this is not currently the end of the world, which is nice. It's always good when a plan doesn't potentially ruin your city. So bring this down to here, bring this guy down to this intersection and down to here. And then this can just connect straight down to everything else. In fact, it could go straight over. I want it to snap to the intersection though, so right about there. And so now it loops around the entire sort of downtown area, which is a pretty big deal. I suppose the next step would be to decide to bring it into the south or up to the north, and I don't actually know which one I want to do. I'm kind of leaning towards going this way, although that angle's apparently too sharp. So I guess we'd sort of come off of there or do something like that. I don't know. I'm leaning towards bringing it up into my industrial zone. I kind of feel like that would be the way to go. And we could probably bring it off of this intersection straight up to there and straight over to there. That I think would actually work. So you know what? Let's go ahead and do it. Let's get some maglevs into the industrial area so that people can get around kind of nicely. And to be honest, I'm not 100% sure how I want to do this. I think the easiest thing to do is just going to be to sort of loop around the space a bit, kind of like that. So 3 stations. I'm not going to go over towards the oil well. I don't think there's much point in doing that. We'll connect these guys together very, very simply around the square, and then we'll just connect it down to the lower system and hope that it works. That's kind of my plan here. So we'll go from here right at this. Can I get that to snap really nicely? I think I can. So from there to there, and then can I just go straight across? Is it going to let me do that? It doesn't snap, which is kind of annoying. I could do that. I don't love it. I'm going to try and get this to be as straight as possible, which I think that pretty much is. And so there we go. Oh, I don't like that. I don't know how I feel about that, but it's a connection, which is good. So you can now get on a maglev in the lower part of the city and get up to your work in the industrial zone, which I think is a really big deal. You can hop in a maglev at the airport and get to pretty much anywhere downtown. So the next step is just connecting it to this entire lower space. Omegaco's also got more profits now than it ever has before. I think these giant factories are doing very good things for us, but I have to be honest, we might actually need to kind of quickly build this guy. Now it's 1,700 per hour for the large fire station. I think what we'll do is try and find a spot for it that's not going to demolish too much. Right here is actually not too bad. It is going to get rid of one factory, but it's not the end of the world. How much are you making from a Megaco? 640? You know what? I'm willing to do that. I'm willing to get rid of it. So we'll do this. And then what I need to do is figure out, can I get a hazmat truck? I can't. I need a, oh God, I need a university. Oh no. Oh no. Oh, we might need to go and build a university city sooner than later. Interesting. Okay, what is, so fire marshal office. The fire marshal drives around the city, visiting homes, factories, and shops. Places the fire marshal visits are immune to fire for several days. That actually sounds like a great idea. Because, oh, we could also get a fire helipad. If we can get a municipal or international airport in the region. Okay. I think we need the fire marshal. 100%. Also, every time I say fire marshal, I just think of that Jim Carrey character from, was it In Living Color? Was that the 80s or 90s? I honestly don't remember. Fire Marshal Bill, if you haven't seen Fire Marshal Bill, seriously, YouTube it. It's really, really funny. But we'll get the fire marshal office once we have some money. And then I guess, I mean, what was it? Twain was where we were going to build the university. I think we might have to do that. I think we might have to start the new city in the next episode and start working towards getting ourselves some hazmat trucks. And I wonder, I mean, so you can loan hazmat trucks, right? So I wonder if we were to have Twain, ooh, I don't know how Twain's going to make money. I haven't thought about that. But my thinking is if we can get the hazmat trucks in Twain, then we can potentially go ahead and loan them out to Nerdberg, which, by the way, I'm going to pause real quick because some factories have decided to upgrade and kill my OmegaCo income. Remember not that long ago, about 10 minutes ago, when I said I wasn't going to rely solely on OmegaCo to make my money in here? Yeah, that aged poorly, but it's totally fine because I may or may not have just gifted 600,000 simoleons from Orville down to Nerdberg just to keep it afloat, which is annoying that I have to keep doing this, but these guys are just continuing to upgrade. So once they're built, I'm pretty sure OmegaCo can take over and then we will get a bunch of money again from these large factory things. I mean, 1,800 per hour is pretty good, 1,600 on that one. So I'm sure we'll be okay. It's just a matter of waiting for these to build. And while we do that, I'm going to go ahead, I think, and expand our MAGLEV service. Wait, we have power problems? Oh, we do. Interesting. Okay. Oil power plants. We probably want to, oh, we need a we really need a university, man. We really got to get one of those. We'll bulldoze that though. And then what we can do as soon as it's gone is replace it with this combustion generator. And that'll probably keep us pretty good. Although it doesn't seem to, oh no. Why can't I, oh no. What do you mean overlapping? Hold on a minute. What do you mean it's overlapping? Overlapping with, oh God. Oh no. Okay. All right. I'm suddenly very tempted to go with nuclear power. Although this thing actually also needs educated Sims. You know what? Let's not do that. Let me bulldoze you and let me move that road. Can I do there? No, I can't. Can I go for here? No, I can't. Can I go for here? I absolutely can. All right. So we're going to do that. We're going to put ourselves an oil power plant. I want to say here. I really want it to be expandable though, is what I'm hoping for. So we'll try this. And then if I go to you and I get this guy, I can put that on the back, which is good. Although I'm pretty sure, hold on a minute. Get rid of all of those. Wait, do I have to run the game for these to actually demolish? I don't think I do. So this can go, I guess, right on the back of the building. This can go on the roof of the building. And this can go at the back there. And we can get another one. And then we'll probably never run out of power. How expensive are these guys? 1,185. You know what? Do we need 3 of them, or can I get away with 2 of them? That's my question. Because if I can get away with 2 of them, I'm going to go with 2 of them because we really can't afford more than that. No, we cannot. Okay. We need 3 of them. There we go. Power is no longer a problem. Money is going to continue to be a problem, but that is mostly, again, an OmegaCo thing. So they'll figure themselves out, I'm sure. What I'm going to do is I'm going to continue to expand my MAGLEV network because, I mean, it's not responsible to do this, but I feel like it's potentially going to help us in the long run, maybe? I don't know that it will, to be honest. I really don't, but I'm going to do it anyway because I just think it's a really cool network. And it also had like 20-something thousand people riding it before the network lost power. So obviously we want to bring it into this southern neighborhood here. So we'll go ahead and do something like that. And I kind of feel like bringing it over here as well, to be honest. I think that would be kind of a cool idea. So let's get a MAGLEV station right about there. We'll get one. Well, actually, you know what? I don't think we need more than that. We'll just do sort of the 1. So it can go to there, and annoyingly, it doesn't necessarily follow the curvature of the road. So we'll do something like that. So now you can hop in a MAGLEV and get to just about anywhere, which is 100% what we're looking for. Now, why are you guys having problems? Why is sewage complaining? How do we have a deficit? Does this guy keep just not getting... How? Sewage process... We can process more than that, right? I honestly have no idea. I think we are getting enough control net. I'm pretty sure we're getting enough control net. Yeah, we have excess. Oh, there is just a lot. Wow. Okay, that's actually, I was going to say it's impressive, but really it's just disgusting. Now, just while we're talking about control net, I'm pretty sure the Academy is ready to upgrade. It absolutely is. So we'll go ahead and do that. It looks really, really cool when it's upgraded as well. So that's kind of interesting. And I think the Quantum Science Annex is about the only thing that we don't have in the region. So this thing obviously needs to be built. It's just sort of a matter of where. And I'm sort of looking at this space down here and thinking that would be good. Or that space right there and thinking, ooh, actually, you know what? Right next to the other one, 100%. There we go. That's ridiculous looking, but I kind of dig it. So that means we can go to you and we can start to research all this other stuff. So what do we want? That's the real question. A fusion power plant would be kind of cool. Although I suppose if it exploded, it would be a bit of a problem. A Mark II air scrubber crown. The air scrubber absorbs air pollution around the mega tower. Once full, it creates rain clouds that add water and some ground pollution. That doesn't seem like a good idea. I've got to be honest, I don't know that I like that. And then this is a fusion reactor for an elite mega tower. Okay, I'll tell you what. Let's go for the garbage atomizer. That seems like a fair idea. And then we can go for that level 4 upgrade on the Academy as well. Also, in better news, we are very close to making money again, which is lovely. And I think that's partly down to the fact that all of this upgrading over here has stopped and OmegaCo is in progress. It's in the process of taking this place over. It has taken over just about everywhere else though, which is good. Well, oh wait, why do you not have crude oil? Why is oil becoming so hard to come by around here? I guess, I mean, are we using it here? No, you're not accepting global deliveries. So we're using crude oil in our power. We are not exporting it. We are trying to refine it. And then I guess we're also using it for OmegaCo. But the thing is, we're also, we're importing a lot of crude oil. So I'm not too sure how that's going and how that's happening. Let's turn off local deliveries on crude oil and we'll see if that maybe then turns into a bunch more production at the refinery. Because I think what's happening with OmegaCo is every time it needs oil, it just orders it via VTOL pad. And that's probably why we're seeing so many shipments of crude oil through here. I don't know if that's actually the case, but it's what I'm assuming. And also, if these guys, wait, not enough places to ship freight. Oh, okay. We're starting to see that problem again. Let's have a look at the detailed stats and see what's up. We're back up to 9,000 available jobs. I don't love that. Quite a lot of those are medium wealth though, which is very interesting. So we just need more people, which at this point, I've got to be honest, I'm very, very tempted to just build a mega tower. I don't necessarily want to, but I feel like if we look at our population demands, a lot of it is medium wealth. I mean, yeah, there's high wealth demand as well, but it is mostly low. Well, it's not mostly low, but it's medium is the highest. So I'm tempted. I'm really, really tempted to just build a mega tower. And if we did, it could go right there. There is a really good space for it right there at the edge of the city. And I'm sure there's other squares around here. There might actually, oh yeah, there's down here as well. That would get rid of a massive amount of Sims though, which I don't love the idea of doing. So I'm tempted. This would also be right in front of a MAGLEV station, which could potentially be a good thing as well. So I might do it. I really might do it. It's 120,000. And I feel it in my bones that it might solve some of our problems. It might not. It literally might not, but I've got to be honest, I'm so tempted. I really, really am so tempted. So, oh man, I don't know. I think we're going to do it. 120,000 Somalians for a mega tower. We're going to do it. We're going to do it. It's there. It's a thing. It just took our population down pretty considerably, like 8,000 people just dropped off there. But this, I think, is necessary. I don't know. I feel bad doing it because I did say that we weren't going to do mega towers in Nerdberg, but at this point we are. Also, these guys were abandoned because they couldn't find shops or parks. That's interesting when you consider that they could have just hopped into MAGLEV and went to anywhere, but okay. You're abandoned because there weren't enough places to ship freight. That's fine. Also, that looks like the logo of a game developer, and I don't, for the life of me, remember which one. I want to say CD Projekt, sort of. I might be imagining it. I don't actually know what the logo for CD Projekt Red is, but for some reason that's giving me that vibe. I don't know. I might be imagining it. Now, looking at you, what have we got going on? Total profit today, 400. This is full. There's 1,200 people in there, which is pretty cool. So, I mean, that sort of worked out. If we look into here, demand has definitely dropped for low wealth. So what if we were to throw one more low wealth level on here, and then we just do a bunch of medium wealth levels as well? I do think getting some mole levels could be a good idea too, though, because then we would have places to ship freight, but I don't know if it's the type of freight that the industry wants to sell. I guess we'll find out. All right, so now we're seeing the low wealth residential demand be even lower than we've seen it in a pretty long time. So that's good. That's what we're looking for. There is still there's still maxed out regional demand, but that's just always going to be a thing. So I think what we do at this point, I also just noticed there's actually people walking around on the roof of this place. I've never seen that before. Okay, well, that's pretty cool. What I'm thinking though is at this stage, we just go ahead and put the medium wealth apartments on here, or we could do a mole level, the medium wealth one, then the low wealth one, and then a bunch of medium wealth apartments. That might be kind of interesting, just as a bit of a different layout for the hell of it. And honestly, I think that's what we're gonna do. It's very expensive though, 1,150 per hour. Ooh, I don't like that. Let me look at the breakdown real quick. So there's fewer available jobs for low wealth Sims, and actually thinking about it, if we have these jobs available already, we need to fill them. I think that's going to be the priority. So I don't think we do mole levels, although it's these unsold goods. I think honestly, we don't need mole levels for this mega tower at all, because basically we are selling all of the goods that we make to, there's actually a lot of unsatisfied customers, I've just realized. Interesting. we need to, oh, I realize we have too many high wealth goods. We don't have enough low and medium wealth goods. So we need lower wealth industry is what I'm thinking. Right? That's how I'm looking at this. That's how I'm choosing to look at this. I don't know if that's actually true. I think we need lower wealth industry. So we might have to look into that. But my point is that the only place that we have unsold goods is in the high wealth category. So we need high wealth commercial, I think is what that means. Now, let me just think here. Total goods 469, total shoppers 3300, satisfied 664, commuting out that many, unsatisfied that. So yeah, basically there are low wealth shoppers who have nowhere to go, but there's also not enough goods. Yeah, I think I'm on the right path with that. Sorry, that was a lot of rambling. I hope that made sense. I think what we'll do is we'll throw this apartment level on here. It is 1,320 per hour, which is almost double the price of the other ones. But I think if people move in there and there is the local demand for medium wealth, I think that'll be okay. I think they'll move in and I think we'll maybe make money from it. And also Omega is going to take over that mega tower at some point and make some money there as well, which will be lovely. So we will see how that plays out. Let me just, you know what? Let me just look at this again. Let me just make sure that I'm sort of on the right path with this. So we have got the jobs creeping up again. I don't love that. So shoppers, low wealth, total that, satisfied that, community. So that's how many are leaving. So if you combine, I guess, the total number of goods with the total number of shoppers that are commuting out, you get the total number of satisfied customers. And then you have everyone else, you know, you take that total number of satisfied away from the total, you get the number of unsatisfied because they don't have goods, because they don't have enough goods to sell. So yes, I think what I'm getting at is the fact that we need lower wealth industry, or we need to import that freight. But then that would mean we need lower wealth commercial, which we don't have. So that slightly complicates things. Let's try, I guess. Let's look at the land value real quick. We have the land value overlay here. So the land value here is medium. It's not great, but I think what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to try and zone some commercial here. And I'm going to try and zone some commercial here and here. Now, yes, that's going to give us more jobs, but what I'm thinking is that potentially that's going to give us space to sell lower wealth goods, and then we can import the freight for those guys. I don't know if that's actually going to work, but that's sort of where my brain's at, so we'll see if it does. I'm also going to go ahead and get another maglev in here. It is expensive, but I think it's probably worth it, so we'll just go ahead and connect you to that intersection, connect you to there, and that should be fine. So eventually we'll loop this around and connect it to everything else, but for now, we'll just let this sort of develop and see what it turns into. Now, looking at the mega tower very quickly, how are you doing? So profit today, 3,360. If we look in here, mega tower is making money. They want park or mall levels. Interesting. Okay, so if we look at you, I'm not going to give them mall levels, but we could give them a park level, which, I mean, how expensive is it? 480 raises medium wealth land value. You know what? Sure. We'll give them a park level just to keep them nice and happy. And hopefully that's going to mean that we get more people coming in, especially those medium wealth guys, to bring that demand down. Also, annoyingly, low wealth's creeping back up, but I guess it's gonna, right? I will say the mega tower has done nothing to the available jobs. It's still nearly 11,000. If anything, I think it's gotten higher. So I wonder, do the people living in the mega tower leave the mega tower? Or is the mega tower just sort of fluffing my population numbers for the hell of it? I'd be kind of annoyed if it is. So this right here is an example of one of those buildings that I talked about that would catch fire and we just can't do anything about it because it happens to be a hazmat fire. So we sort of just sit and watch this burn. And when it blows up, we're going to be losing 1,600 simoleons per hour. And on top of that, we also have all of these other factories that are now building or upgrading, and we lose money on those as well. It's kind of a pain, really. And yes, if you're looking at my budget, I did have to go to another one of my cities and send another 700,000 simoleons here to Nerdberg, but it's fine. I'm sure it's fine. It's not a big deal. We can totally, there it goes. We can totally turn this around. Let's get rid of you, because we need that area to rebuild nice and quickly. Now, looking at the Mega Tower, it is pretty much done. It needs a crown, but I did decide to go ahead and put a mole level in there just to try and cheer up the guys that were living in the medium wealth apartment levels. And it seems like it's doing all right. I don't know if it's actually going to make much of a profit, but if we look in here at our detailed stats, we are actually down to 4,000 available jobs. That's lower than it's ever been. So we're starting to level this out. Although I do want to mention that, you know, speaking of comments all through this episode, I did see some comments that mentioned that this isn't necessarily this isn't necessarily something to aspire for. It's, you know, matching a perfect balance here, getting a perfect balance here isn't gonna fix everything. But I've got to be honest, I do like aiming for it. It's kind of fun to look at it and be like, okay, we need more low wealth workers. We need 2,500 more medium wealth workers. How do we do that? What do we do? What way do we want to do that? It's a nice project is what it is. Now, what do I want in terms of a crown on here? I do kind of like the idea of the tiered park crown again. You know what? A solar power generator wouldn't be a terrible idea. Although 200 megawatts during peak hours, I don't know what it would drop to at night. I don't know if it has like batteries. I don't know if it stores the power. But this guy has the regional bonus of boosting resident satisfaction per park crown visit with additional park crowns in the region. So because we have one of these elsewhere. Yeah, we have one of these elsewhere. So it's going to have a greater effect on resident satisfaction. This will boost the mall and office level profits within mega towers with advertising crowns. Okay, so that's actually going to give me more profits. You know what? We're going to go with the advertising one because the mall level just never makes money. So we're going to try and get the mall level to actually make money by relying on that boost from the other mega towers in the region. We have one there with advertising. And we have one there with advertising. That would be miserable, man. You live down here, right? Like way, way down in here. I also forgot that you can zoom in this far. Like you come out of your apartment, you look up towards the mountains and, well, you can't really see it from here, but you get the idea. Just there off in the distance is just a giant billboard over the hill. That's the only thing you can see from Orville is the tops of the mega towers. Mostly the advertising one. And wouldn't you know that we are back up to 8,500 available jobs. It turns out that the reason the numbers were so low was because a bunch of factories over here were upgrading. So it wasn't that my mega tower was doing good work. It was that the industry was continuing to build and rebuild the way it's done for, well, quite a while. I will say I'm really tempted to get rid of the oil well. It has 3 months supply underneath it. It's cool that we don't have to necessarily import oil. I like that we don't have to import oil, but we mostly are for the Omega Co factory. In fact, the Omega Co factory exclusively imports its oil. So, I mean, that's sort of a thing. And then admittedly, it does use local ore. This guy is using the local oil as well, but I'm almost tempted to just import it. I've got to be honest. I do want to look at you, though. Can I get VTOL pads at a small... No, I don't think I can get VTOL pads at the small trade thing. I don't know if I can get them at the large one either, though. At the trade port. It would be cool if I could. If I could get the VTOL pads here for deliveries, that would be really nice. But for the life of me, I can't remember. And I don't want to build this for 58,000 simoleons only for it to turn up, you know, useless. That would be kind of a waste of money is what that would be. And while we have a lot of money, it's, you know, I would one day like Nerdberg theoretically to be able to pay back the money that was given by the other cities. So We're not going to go too crazy. But I don't know. I kind of feel like we should look into maybe importing oil and then just using this space for more industry. I mean, admittedly, we do have available jobs, but if I could do this and get this to be lower tech, maybe? Although in saying that, this is high tech as well, and it's probably the community college that's doing it. So maybe the community college could be moved over to here. So this would all eventually be high tech industry, and then maybe some of the stuff around here wouldn't be. I don't know. I just feel like it would probably free up some money. At the very least, it would free up 730 simoleons, and then whatever Omega brings in from the new industry would be a whole thing as well. It's kind of tempting. I'm really considering it. The only thing is I would need to either get another or expand the current trade ports. Although, I could get one here, I guess. So if I go to here and I go to Trade Depot, rather, I could get one right there. I think I could also get the actual trade port in there as well. You know what? I don't know. I could put it there and actually have it be slightly expandable. We're going to do it. We're going to take this chance and see what it can do. So if I go to you, what is this? Heavy lift VTOL pad. Bypass roads entirely and ship resort. Yeah. So that's what we're looking for. that's kind of what I'm looking for right there. So I do want a crude oil storage lot. Oh my God, I can't afford it. Or I can afford it, but I can't build it. That's annoying. Okay. I mean, I kind of need it. I don't know if I want to get rid of the freight thing though. I also feel like freight being down here is not actually a bad thing. I don't know. I don't know. I feel like we do need this to exist somewhere that I can expand it though, annoyingly. So what about in here? Let's see if it fits in that space, because if it does, then that'll do. Yeah. Oh wait, it's not expandable there though. Is it expandable in here? It looks like it. So let's build it in there and let's move a bunch of that commercial zoning into here. And then what I can do is go to you, go to modify, and all I'm looking for is crude oil storage. It's 20,000. We are spending 108,000 a day importing crude oil. That's ridiculous. That to me, I don't know if that makes it worth it or not to actually have the crude oil thing at all. I really don't. I don't know if I want two of these or not. I'm going to do two of them just because I can. We'll do a sign right there and we'll see how this goes. So what I want to do, I don't want to modify the building. I want to go to the building and I want to import crude oil. That's my plan there. And then what we can do is I'm just going to get rid of the oil well. It's just not worth it. It just really doesn't seem like it's worth it. It's not it's not making it's not, I don't know. It just doesn't seem worth it. It really doesn't. So that's what we're going to do. This guy is going to accept global deliveries. I hope it doesn't need them. This guy is mostly exporting, which honestly, getting some VTOL pads to do exporting would be kind of amazing. So it's very tempting to use this space for that. But I don't know. I'm really not too sure on that one. This does freight, plastic. It has ore in there. I keep hitting the wrong button. Are we exporting ore? No, we're just using it locally. So this is just ore storage, which is fine. I'm suddenly very tempted to try this. So if I go in and I built you, we could do this. We could do this. We absolutely could. We could build it there and then use VTOL pads for exporting petroleum, exporting plastics. It would bypass traffic. It will be good, but it's very expensive. It's very expensive up front. And it also takes up some of this space. Although I guess if I do that, it frees up this space, right? So if I go to you and I go to modify, we're looking to move plastics and petroleum. So plastic is here, and we can do, I guess, a lot right there. And then petroleum can be there. And yes, that's a lot of money, but now what I can do is go and say export, export. And then this guy is going to just get bulldozed. Now that's going to leave us with no ore storage for the time being, but that's okay. I'm also going to take a bond because I'm really kind of refusing to take money from the other cities right now. And what I can do is this, and that gives me a bit of industry. I can also do this right here. Now these guys aren't going to be able to expand to full size, but that's okay. And by the way, I did also see some comments talking about that. That second line you can see at the top there away from the road, that is a full-size building. So if it's clear of other buildings, it can expand to full size. If it isn't, it can't. So everything I'm building there can expand to full size. Anything down here can't. But that's all right. So that'll give us more industry, which is good. I think it's going to probably pollute the hydro pumping stations, but I'm sure we'll manage. I'm sure it'll be okay. I think I could maybe get rid of these guys. Just these three and still be all right. And so hopefully this builds up and gets taken over by OmegaCo, and then we can get more money that way. That's the goal here with all of this new industry. And I should probably push a road in here to get more industry in that space. Actually, that seems like a really good idea. So just doing something kind of like that and then putting some industry on that road. I feel like it'll be a pretty good space. We could probably do the same there for some smaller factories. And we'll just see how that goes. But my goal here and my hope is that this guy, I mean, it's pretty full of oil right now. It's also got a lot of freight in there, which is great. My hope and my goal is that the VTOL pads actually work the way I want them to. And that we can, you know, turn all of that oil into petroleum and into plastics and then export those via VTOL pads so that we don't need to worry about traffic, right? So it means that my deliveries of oil and whatever should be super regular rather than getting held back by traffic, which was sort of the whole point of what we've done today, right? We've moved public transport off the roads into the MAGLEV. There's 25,000 riders per day, which could be better. Definitely could be better. I'd like it to be better, but that's still 25,000 people that are, you know, are otherwise not using cars. So that's a success. We are trying to move our imports and exports away from the roads as well. So I would say that's a bit of a success. We've got a mega tower that's making money, I guess. It's making money. It's doing all right. OmegaCo is making a bit of money as well, so I guess we'll see what happens is what we'll do. I don't love that we're importing so much crude oil, but, well, actually, if we're importing it here, let's go turn off the imports here, and let's just say that actually you guys are going to use the local stuff. So the only place that's going to be importing oil now is the trade port. So in theory, we should make a bit more money. I don't know. I don't know if it's going to work. I don't know if this is actually a good idea or not, but it feels right. I don't know if that makes sense either, but this feels like the right thing to do. So we'll see how it goes. I'm also going to say that we should probably do some industry across here just to fill out that space. We can try and do a little bit in there as well, I guess. And I like this. This seems like a better use of space, to be honest. That oil well was doing nothing for us. Okay, so now that the sun has set on Nerdberg once again, I think we can go ahead and move away from Nerdberg for at least a little bit, probably a few episodes while we go and build another city. And it's gonna be Twain. It's gonna be a university city. I'm not too sure how it's gonna make money yet because education just eats your income. Seriously. This high school over here is still closed because it costs 3,500 Somalians to run. Now we are in a good place. At least we're in a better place, although there are a couple of buildings back there that are on fire and are about to explode. We are in a better place though. OmegaCo is a little bit more stable. Residential income is a little bit better. The mega tower is making a little bit of money and jobs across the board. We're getting there. It's not the end of the world if we're not filling all of those, but honestly, I think Nerdberg's in a bit of a better place. I think using the VTOL pads, the trade ports, the maglevs, just everything that we've done today, I think it's helped to stabilize it just a little bit. It feels like it's okay to move away from Nerdberg for a bit and then come back to improve it some more. Or, at the very least, loan some hazmat fire trucks from Twain or whatever it's going to be called to help Nerdberg out a little bit. I would sort of also like to go ahead and get an Omega HQ at some point, because it turns out that you actually can't export Omega from a city unless you have an HQ, which is sort of annoying. I was really hoping that we could, but you need the Commerce Division in that city to then export Omega. So it's a bit of a pickle, it's a bit of a pain, and it's something that we're going to have to deal with eventually when we're done with Twain. Yes, that was supposed to rhyme. We are also having issues still with crime. There are 268 criminals, which is not good, to be honest. If we go to the region, we could go over to Linden City and good old Orville and maybe volunteer some police cars from either of those two. But yeah, Nerdberg is a haven for crime right now. It's a bit of a nightmare. And it's something that we can sort of do things about it. You know, we can get more police stations in here for sure. There's definitely the room for it, but it's just expanding those police stations that becomes the problem. We have one here, and we have one up here. So maybe we should, I don't know, maybe we should throw a police station into this space or somewhere up here just to see what we can do. I mean, we have that space right there, but it would stop some of my industry from being able to expand. So very quickly, let's see where I can do a police station. I'm kind of thinking here, it'll get rid of that factory, but that's honestly okay. And what we'll do is we'll go and throw a bunch of cars onto this. So we'll do a car here, we'll do cars here, we'll do cars here and here. And I kind of want to bulldoze that one at the front to see if I can get them to be nicely lined up there. So can I get you back, please? Any second now? No, is it really going to do that to me? Okay, no, there it is. And there. So that'll be all right. We are now almost losing money, but that's fine. That was sort of to be expected. We'll get the details out front, and that's not going to do a lot for jail cells, but it is going to give us, what, 10 cars that we otherwise wouldn't have? So hopefully that's going to help us out. Hopefully that's going to lead to more of these almost 300 criminals getting arrested, and it might just improve things, because we do occasionally have abandoned buildings because of crime. So we'll see what happens. We're still technically making money in Nerdberg, so I'm gonna consider it okay. Like I said, it's okay for now to get out of town, go over to Twain, turn it into a university city, and research hazmat fire trucks as well as whatever else you can get through a university, because we do have some problems. We definitely have some problems here, as is evidenced by that. So yeah, we're gonna go to Twain is what we're gonna do. So thank you very much for watching, everybody. Thank you for the feedback and all that good stuff on the last Nerdberg episode as well. I know it's a little frustrating to see, you know, mistakes getting made here and there, but I'm slowly trying to relearn the game. Fun fact, I was never very good at this. I was never very good at SimCity when it came out. I didn't mean to click on you. I don't care what you have to say. I wasn't very good when it came out. And then when Cities of Tomorrow came out, I just leaned on Omega Co all the time and trade as well to make all my money. So having a city that for some reason, I mean, Omega Co is not doing too good and that isn't really doing very well in trade, it's frustrating for me as well. Although admittedly, transportation, as we very well know, is taking up a lot of the money. Anyway, I'm rambling. Thank you very much for watching. It's been an absolute pleasure as always. And as always, I'll see you next time. Well, bye.